This is EA Sports coverage of the PGA Tour. Frank, you've competed here on so many occasions. What's the magic of the old course?
Just the history, the fact that this golf course has evolved. We still really don't even know the original designer of the golf course. I think it just sort of evolved through time. Originally it was 22 holes reduced to 18. The fact that when you look at the scorecard, you play 9 holes out, then you turn around in the loop and come back in. If you even time the tide right, you can play 18 holes with the wind behind your back. But the double greens, there's 7 double greens, and each double green adds up to 18. For example, if you're on the 3rd, it's adjacent to the 15th, the 4th, the 14th. It's a place that just continually grows on you, and then you realize you're playing inside like a museum of the game.
Wow, Frank, he is dialed in.
Yeah, that was just some shot on that. Easy birdie.
Locked in on the read and the speed. -1 and early going. Now to the second hole here at the Open Championship. And Frank, what's the best way to attack?
Ideally, if you're not the longest hitter, just down the right side. But if you've got some wind conditions, wind behind your back, you can nearly drive this green.
And that's going to stay on the fairway here at the second hole. Ready for his second shot, trying to knock it on the green.
Well, there's a big green, and they're going to use every inch of it.
I mean, really on top of his game right now. That was a splendid approach shot. Frank going for another birdie here.
Just to get on a real roll.
Well, that would have been a bonus had it gone in, but still, reasonable chance for par here.
Yeah, there's no damage. You're not going to birdie every hole.
Stays at 1 under with that par. At the third hole now, Frank, it looks relatively easy, but you know there's some danger lurking somewhere out there on the old course.
There is. There's the pot bunkers down the right side. This is a tee where really you want to have an idea where that wind is coming from. If it's into your face, you might want to be a little cautious and go towards the middle of the golf course. But if it's behind you, well, then it's worth challenging that right side.
Well, now it's right in his wheelhouse. Good position where he can attack the pin.
Yeah, he has all those options now. That ball's sitting up. You can bring it in high. You can bring it in low. The choice is yours. If you hit enough shots, every now and again, one's going to go in.
Crazy, crazy thing. At the fourth hole now, and Frank, this one looks as though it might require a little bit of club selection off the tee. What are we looking at, partner?
Well, there is 2 ways to play the fourth off the tee. You can hit it down the right side, but it really starts to narrow up, and it's slightly shorter. Most players go towards the middle of the golf course and try and get it on that plateau. But this, certainly, the first hard hole you see at St. Andrews. Rich, that was a heat-seeking missile. That is out there.
And they make it look so easy, and we know it isn't, but when you hit tee balls that long and that straight, it does make the game kind of simple. Oh, can't hide the flag stick from that man. Just a couple of feet. That's a birdie for McIlroy. He's just so explosive. Hole number 5 of the first par 5 we've seen today. This fairway looks like it narrows quite a bit, Frank. Are you thinking eagle when you step up onto the tee?
Well, you could, especially if you've got a little bit of breeze behind you, but it's quite wide in the driving area with the exception of those 3 bunkers on the right that just sort of pop out. But if you can get it past those, this par 5, very reachable. Rich, there's great drivers of the ball. We've seen Norman, Nicholas over the years, but that there is just excellent. Lovely full turn, plenty of power and just piped it.
Made it look easy right there, and he's such a good-looking player. When he's dialed in, swinging the way he is right now, just a pleasure to watch. That was just a gutsy shot right there, and a good look at eagle coming up. They don't come around too often. Opportunities for eagle. You want to seize it if you get the chance. This is a good one here.
It's amazing. Doesn't matter how close it goes. It's an extra shot. That one will definitely hurt.
Just a little tap in here. Playing some outstanding golf right now. That's another birdie and 5 under par. Moving on to the par 4 6th hole here at the birthplace of golf. This hole shares a green actually with the 12th. How do you work your way around this hole, Frank?
Some sort of tee shot. 3 bunkers that look like they're in the left center of the fairway and a series of bunkers down the right. So somehow bisect those, and then you set yourself up to a green with a false front.
I mean, he just blasted it down the fairway, well over 325 yards. This one looks like it's headed right for the middle of the dance floor, Frank.
Rather nice shot, I would say.
Terrific golf shot. And now, that for an easy birdie. Frank, 2 is nice, but
3 is even better.
Back-to-back birdies and 6 under par. Over the ball here at the 7th. And Frank, if you had to script a game plan here, what would it look like?
You could drive this pretty close to the green. This is a green that's shared with the 11th, the par 3. And so you won't see that tee shot finish, but you can actually drive very, very close to a bunker called the shell, which is the one that protects the par 3 11th.
Paying attention like a little kid at school, Frank. That baby's sitting up.
Sitting up. It's got the best view as well. You don't even need binoculars from where that ball is.
That is an excellent play right there. The approach, giving him another good look. Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. Came to the putt, excited to make birdie. Now, settle for par.
Yeah, a little change in the attitude right now. You've let one go. You've got to really knuckle down there and make sure you don't drop a shot. It's important this one goes in.
180 yards to the flagstick. Frank, one of the unique characteristics of the old course is that only the 1st, 9th, 17th, and 18th holes have their own greens.
Yeah, there's 7 double greens out there, and double greens, they all add up to the number 18. So if you're on the 5th, it's adjoined by the 13th, or the 6th is the 12th. As well as there's a whopping 112 bunkers, and believe me, they're all in play.
They each have their own name, all 112?
Pretty much so, yeah. There's a few with, there's the Beardies and the Corpse and the Principal's Nose. There's some that do stand out, but none of them are very inviting, that's for sure.
And the Road Hole bunker, that's one of the most famous in the world. Not very big.
No, it's probably the size of a couple of tables. It's not quite as deep as it was. That bank is a little less severe now than it used to be in years gone by, probably so they can save a bit of sand, because it gets a bit of excavation day in, day out.
Just a superb shot.
You're not going to see much better than that all day today.
He is on a roll right now. Now at the 10th, and Bobby Jones loved this hole, didn't he?
And that's why it's been renamed Bobby Jones. Drivable for a lot of the players, but if you're going to have a crack at this green, avoid the gorse down the left side, as well as the 2 pot bunkers that are in line with the right side of this green.
That is massive off the tee.
Meters, yards, I don't care how you measure that. That's got to be what? 300 meters, 325 yards, something like that.
Just a pure strike, a perfect result. He'll have a good look at birdie now. Not a gimme, but well within his range. Makes birdie, continuing to amaze on the greens, Frank.
Putted well all day, Rich. Had a couple of good holes early on and just, I think, found the groove. Has taken it to another level. Oh, solid strike right in the heart of the green.
What a display of shot making this has been, Frank.
Oh, that incredible approach shot there. The easiest of birdies coming up.
Frank, dare I say, he's about to enter the zone.
Oh, it just looks way too easy. everything in the right direction. I hate to say it's a formality, but it looks like 4 in a row.
Frank, the charm of St. Andrews, the history of the old course, it all sort of comes into view here at the 12th, doesn't it?
Yeah, very pretty hole. Eden Estuary to the right. Obviously a nice view of the township of St. Andrews in the distance. But long hitters can just lick their chops and have a crack at this green. All they've got to do is worry about that little pop bunker short. But either into the breeze, or if you're not a long hitter, you've got to worry about those 4 bunkers that are well placed smack bang in the middle of this fairway.
So a long putt there and just didn't read it quite right. You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Well, in the words of the late, great baseball commentator for the Yankees, Phil Rizzuto, it's time for holy cow, Whitey. That's 11 under par. Well, this one's sweet, Frank. Super. That's a good spot right there.
Center cut.
Good strike, good lie, good chance to attack the pin. Frank, these days golfers are training like high-level athletes from other sports. Rory McIlroy, for example, has been using a guy by the name of Steve McGregor, who happened to be the trainer for the New York Knicks of the NBA.
And part of his training now is high altitude. The majority of the medal holders, for example, in the Olympics, the medal winners in the Olympics actually use high altitude training. You know, you can develop more red blood cells in a shorter period of time. But, you know, golf, we've had so many different types of training from the athlete side. But you go back to the old days of Henry Cotton beating an old tire. Vijay Singh picked up on that. Or even the rhythm of Sam Snead. He used to count in the rhythm. It was 1, 2, 3. It was 1 at the top of the swing, 2 at impact, and 3 at the follow-through. All those things are still very valid today.
Wow, Frank, look at that one run, how it just blistered that tee shot.
Well, that has to be 325 if it's an inch.
And from the fairway for his second shot here. So, third shot now for Rory McIlroy. What a shot. I mean, almost in.
Rich, I'm starting to lose count. This is just birdie after birdie.
It's all-time stuff. I mean, this is territory we just don't visit very often. Time to tee it up here at the 15th as we begin the closing stretch here at the Open Championship of the Old Course at St. Andrews.
There's a big steeple in the distance, so even when it starts to fog in a bit, if you can keep your eye on that, that's a good line off the tee. And you've got to keep it, your tee shot just short of this sort of heather, big crop of heather down the left side. It still leaves you a lengthy second shot, but really that's the safest way to try and play this par 4, 15th. Very good par 4.
Seems to like it. Looks like it's headed for the green. How'd you like that strike?
That was top of the tree.
Frank, this is nothing short of a dizzying, spectacular display of golf.
Yeah, we're starting to lose count. It just hit so many good shots in a row. But believe it or not, Rich, this will be for 8 in a row.
Headed for home now, partner. The 16th hole. And what are we looking at here?
Well, you have to avoid the principal's nose. Otherwise, you're going to finish up in the principal's office.
Excellent start off the tee. That's a great way to begin this hole. Second shot. Good look at the green. Good chance now for a birdie. That was an outstanding play.
Oh, it's almost a guarantee there after that shot.
Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Now at the 17th tee, and Frank, this is really when you begin to feel the weight and the history of the old course bearing down on you.
And you also feel the nerves as well, because you're having to hit it not just at a fairway or over a bush, but over the corner of an out of bounds. And you'll see there's a little sign up there that says Old Course and Country Club. So you've got to pick the exact letter for the line that you want to hit it across. Hit it down the right side. This hole certainly becomes shorter. Left, you find the left and short. You find the road hole bunker. A little right and long, and well, there's a chance of going out of bounds or on the road itself.
That's how you play the game, right there. Stick it in close and then knock in the birdie. Well, that looked for all the world like it was dead center.
I've got no idea how that missed.
Nudge this one home, finish it up. Did the job right there. Frank, is there a more famous landmark in the sport than the tiny Swoken Bridge?
I think when you think of this game, the way in which we've followed it and covered it, Rich, over the last decade plus, no. It is just symbolic, not just with this golf course, but the game of golf itself, because every great champion has managed to make his foray across to Scotland and play the old course and walk across that bridge.
Let's see what McIlroy does now with his second. Doing whatever he wants with that golf ball. Moving it left, moving it right, hitting it straight when it's called for. He's doing it all. Oh, I thought he had that. Oh, man.
I just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. And getting ready for the putt. Par for McIlroy, but you're just waiting for that moment when he hits that accelerator and pulls away. Frank, that was an impressive round out there today.
Couldn't agree more, Rich. We've seen some great shots out there, and I'm excited to see how the rest of this tournament plays out.
Let's go and play.
EA Sports is proud to present PGA Tour coverage. Well, here we are at the Wetlands Golf and Country Club. We're located along the St. Johns River in the Sunshine State, Florida. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo for EA Sports. Frank, what stands out when you look at the wetlands?
Swampland, the Gators, really it's a good driving golf course, Rich. Not a lot of fairway bunkers in play here at Wetlands, but if you drive the ball well here, you really can get a good score out here at Wetlands. They play the web.com here every now and again, so we've seen some good scores over the years, but always fun to be playing in Florida. Sun on your back, warm golf conditions.
Looks like he's going to have a go at it here at the par 5, his second shot. Frank couldn't ask for anything more.
Just the lie there, too. It is sitting up like it's teed up.
Now the game's #1 player, Rory McIlroy, ready with his approach. Terrific golf shot. And now that for an easy birdie. This one just requires a little bit of focus. 1 under early in the round. Now to the second, par 3, 225 yards. That's good stuff right there. Wonderful approach, and now a really good look at birdie. Frank going for another birdie here.
Just to get on a real roll.
Has it for another birdie. 2 holes, 2 birdies. We're at the 3rd hole now at the Wetlands. It's a par 4, 460 yards. Frank, you watched the web.com tour event down here, and what'd you see when the young bombers came to this hole?
Oh, this is a hole they just love, Rich. You know, it's flat, it's long, and it's straight, so they just tee it up, aim it straight at the green, hit it as hard as they can. And some of these guys were just going in with an 8 or a 9 iron. It was quite amazing. And, of course, when you go with an 8 or a 9 iron into this hole, you look at 3 more often than not.
That was a solid strike and a good result. Frank, this would be huge.
Oh, it's got that strut going, everything. This is when that hole starts to look a little bit bigger. You really feel like you can start to make everything.
Just a little tap in here. Holding steady now at 2 under par. What a hole this is, Frank. Par 3-4, 250 yards, and we're teeing off right in front of the swamp there.
You might see the odd alligator pop its head up. When you look at this, if you want to be clever, you can sort of hit a little cut in here, Rich, and then it'll work with that C-shaped green. It'll get the tee shot away from the bunker that protects the middle. And you never know, it might just sneak in a birdie.
Not a gimme, but well within his range. Well done. Another birdie, and now 3 under par. Good look now at the 5th hole here at the Wetlands. Par 5, and it's a good one. 635 yards. I mean, he just blasted it down the fairway, well over 325 yards. Playing his second shot here at the par 5. That one is bunker bound, it looks like. Well, too bad. He'll have to play from the bunker. All right, so greenside bunker. What's he looking to do with this shot, Frank?
You really have to look at the amount of green you've got to play with. You don't have to try and fly the ball right by the flag. Allow it to run. Plus, if you can get it to run like a putt, you never know. It might just go in.
Don't leave it short. Wow. Just a couple of feet. Routine stuff for Rory. That's a par. Par 4 6th here at the Wetlands. 440 yards and water to deal with.
Two choices here, Rich. Lay it up short of the Wetlands, or, well, chance it. Brave enough, tee it up and flash it across the Wetlands with just a mere short iron into this lengthy par 4.
And now it's right in his wheelhouse. Good position where he can attack the pin.
Yeah, he has all those options now. That ball sitting up, you can bring it in high, you can bring it in low. The choice is yours.
That's well played. Places it about 10 feet out for birdie. Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. Frank, that looked good to me. Good try. Just didn't quite read the break, Frank.
It shouldn't be a problem, you'd think, cleaning up here for par.
In for par. Frank, now we get a crack at another par 5. The 7th is 592 yards.
And certainly reachable, especially with a tee shot that follows the shape of this fairway, which is slightly to the left. Good tee shot, you can get home. And those bunkers, if anything, are nicely placed on that left side of the green, actually to protect a shot that goes too far or too left.
Excellent position and just a huge shot.
Second shot. Oh, solid strike right in the heart of the green.
Just a sensational shot. Well, that's for an eagle.
Amazing. Just like that, pick up 2 on the field.
Starting to really play well. -5. 8th hole here at the Wetlands. Par 3, 203 yards. You like this hole, Frank?
I do, actually, but you have to have a little look at your yardage book, because that front bunker will make this hole look a little shorter to the eye than actually what it plays. Green gets a little narrow as it gets deeper, but flat and, well, I wouldn't say easy. 3 here, not too bad.
That's well played. And now a good look at birdie.
It's at sneaky distance.
Get in. Yes, good putt. Frank, looking at this par 5 9th hole, it's 621 yards. I need to make birdie here. What's the best way to go about it?
Well, if you're a long hitter, then there's a chance you can reach this par 5 and 2, Rich. But really the best way to make birdie here, good tee shot, and then contemplate the layup. In between the first 2 bunkers, there's a nice section of fairway, and that's not going to leave you much in for that third shot to a green that's very receptive. So really, birdie can be made the hard way. Wedge and a putt.
Getting set for another approach. Our featured golfer really looks dialed in at this point.
Yeah, right now, this is a great feeling to have as a golfer. Your swing's good, the timing, it's almost like it's just completely natural. You don't have to think. The swing is exactly where you want it to be. So really, you're just looking at the flag in front of you.
Ready to go here on the backside. We're at the 10th at the Wetlands. We start with a par 3, 246 yards. Early part of this back 9 and a good approach shot. And now we'll have this for birdie. Frank, this would jumpstart the round. A third straight birdie.
Some good playing.
Frank, he took plenty of time on this birdie putt. He looked at it from 3 different angles. He forgot one very important ingredient.
Yeah, pace. You can definitely fall in love with the line, even with approach shots as well, but obviously we see it more on putting.
Par 4 11, Frank, we're looking at 443 yards.
Yeah, the Wetlands golf course is a really good driving course. This is another example here, Rich, where the fairway's just wide enough to reward a good tee shot, and then those 2 bunkers don't really come into play. But Wetlands becomes very difficult when you just start to stray a little bit off the fairway. And then you start to see why those bunkers are put there.
Good strike, good lie, good chance to attack the pin. Let's see what McIlroy does now with his second.
And this one just seems to be moving a little left in the air.
Not too bad. Well, that is an exceptional shot on the green and in position for a birdie.
Yeah, that's a formality now.
Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. Just singes the edge, Frank.
Yeah, but at least he's burning the edges. You know you're hitting good putts.
Just a tap in to finish the hole. Did the job right there. Stepping up to the tee at the first par 5 on this back 9. It's the 12th, and it is 576 yards.
Yeah, this hole bends to the right, opposite direction to what 11 does. A good tee shot, and you can actually think about reaching this par 5 and 2, but anything around the front or front left, still going to leave a relatively simple pitch shot. So when you stand on that tee, think of birdie at least here.
Second from an excellent lie. Frank, where's this one headed?
Well, might just catch the left side of the green. Not on the dance floor, but it's going to be a long way away from the band.
That was just a gutsy shot right there, and a good look at eagle coming up.
It's no snack, though. It's amazing. Doesn't matter how close it goes. It's an extra shot. That one will definitely hurt.
As this putt for birdie. Now 8 under on the day. Here we go at the par 4 13th, 452 yards. What's the best angle of attack?
The straight line really is the best way here, like a lot of holes on the golf course. But straight, as we know, is not often easy. Fairway does start to widen up the further out there you get it. So for the longer hitters, this hole actually plays relatively easy. For the shorter hitters in that narrow area, that'll leave you a lengthy second shot where you just might have to bisect the 2 front greenside bunkers.
Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Rory McIlroy looking to take advantage with this putt. That's a birdie for McIlroy. He's just so explosive. Good par 3 here at the 14th. It's a little bit more than 200 yards, Frank.
And there's a bunker short. So you've got to fly that coming in there, and if you do miss time one, that's when that body of water to the right really comes into play. Typical Floridian golf, but high-flying, soft-landing tee shot, once again, is the goal.
Wouldn't say he's ecstatic, but not unhappy either.
24 feet. There'll be a lot of players much further away than that on this hole.
Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Stepping up here on the 15th tee at the Wetlands, this is a 590-yard par 5. The last par 5 on this golf course is the 15th. It's 590 yards. You think, Frank, this is the time to be aggressive?
Certainly is. Longer hitters must be licking their chops on this par 5. 300-plus yard tee shot, you can definitely get home. Shorter hitters, just set it up for a nice wedge shot. But if you are going to go at this par 5 and 2, well protected by those 3 bunkers. This looks like it's going to find the target.
Just an incredible shot. That is a very makeable putt after a great approach. Well played. Count that for eagle. 16th hole at the Wetlands is a par 4, 455 yards.
Once again, another reward for a straight tee shot, but this green heavily guarded by sand. So, good tee shot. This one, you're going to have to hit one of the better iron shots required at Wetlands.
And now it's right in his wheelhouse. Good position where he can attack the pin.
Yeah, he has all those options now. With that ball sitting up, you can bring it in high, you can bring it in low. The choice is yours.
Terrific golf shot. And now that for an easy birdie. You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. This is one of the best rounds I've seen in a long time. That is an 8th birdie on the day. Just a superb shot.
You're not going to see much better than that all day today.
Could really use this one. It's for birdie. Stacking them and racking them. Well, this is it, Frank, the 18th hole. And on paper, it looks like you can get this one. You can make a birdie because it's only 377 yards.
You're exactly right, Rich. Just a nice drive. Doesn't even have to be a driver here. It's going to set you up really short iron wedge into this short par 4, and I always like to finish on a birdie. I know you do too, because a little walk to the clubhouse there on the left, maybe a hot dog or a hamburger.
Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
Great way to finish off the final approach shot with a birdie opportunity. Frank, 2 is nice, but
3 is even better.
Can't make it, Frank, if you don't hit it.
Hubert Green once said, 99% of putts left short don't go in. What happened to the other 1%? But
routine stuff for Rory. That's a par. Frank, just some great golf here today.
Yeah, that's a round to remember. Not often you play that well and you feel like you were head and shoulders above the rest of the field.
What a thrill to watch. And for Frank Nobilo and our entire team,